On Patrol with the Suffolk County PBA is a dynamic podcast that brings together some of the most influential voices in the nation.
From union leaders and elected officials to law enforcement experts who explore the pressing issues shaping America.
Through thought-provoking conversations, we empower listeners to think critically about law enforcement, political policy, and the future of our society.
Available on Spotify, iHeartRadio, YouTube, and all Suffolk PBA social media platforms. Tune in to On Patrol with the Suffolk County PBA.
Welcome to another episode of On Patrol with the Suffolk County PBA. I'm CJ Hutter, the treasurer of the PBA.
I'm Tanner Bearmeyer, the sergeant at arms of the PBA.
And today we're very excited to have Louis Tutone joining us. Lou has a long history with the Suffolk County Police Department. He's been a PBA representative in the 5th Precinct. He was the first vice president of the PBA for a long time. Thanks for joining us, Lou.
Thank you. Pleasure to be here.
So what's very exciting about Lou is when he retired a couple of years ago, he didn't want to stop serving the county and he didn't want to stop helping police officers, which has been his lifestyle for as long as he's been a police officer. So Lou became part of the Suffolk County Police Foundation.
Correct.
Yeah. So Lou, tell us a little bit about your role with the Police Foundation and a little bit about what the Police Foundation does.
Sure. Let me just, I'll talk about how it was founded, how it started.
Absolutely.
Is that good? So every other municipality, every other police department around here has a police foundation. New York City, Nassau County, and they are just monsters in what they do. Recently, Nassau has done a lot of great projects. They opened up a training village and a brand new academy. Now, both of those were a public-private partnership with the municipality. So when Rodney Harrison came here from New York City and he became the police commissioner, he realized that we did not have that police foundation here. And he reached out to two people who he thought would be capable of forming the Suffolk County Police Foundation. One was Mike Van Denberg, who has a very successful foundation on his own called Promise of Hope.
Great guy, and great organization.
Yep. And Lisa Tuzzolo, who is a NYPD widow. Her husband, Paul, was a sergeant that was killed in November of 2016. So the Commissioner Harrison had a relationship with her already, obviously from the city, and then and kind of identified Mike as a good guy to help start the police foundation here. Because it's a lot of work. You have to do the 501c3. You have to get federal and state approval. So it's a lot of time. You have to do the bylaws. So it's a lot of time and money to get it started.
Right. And those are two great people. I think Commissioner Harrison did a great job with selecting who he would have come in to help build this organization. And like you said, there's a lot of work behind the scenes. But one of the things that the public will really take notice to is the money that gets put back into the police department and the communities, right? What ultimately ends up being a lot of tax dollar savings for the communities.
Correct. Like I had mentioned, the Nassau County Police Foundation, when they built that academy, the municipality, they paid for the shell, and then the foundation paid $50 million to outfit the academy.
And that thing looks tremendous too.
Yeah, that's a beautiful facility.
Yes.
State of the art.
State of the art, yes.
Yep.
And then their training village also. It's beautiful stuff. It's the way that police officers should be trained because it benefits the police officers and obviously the community also.
Right. Practice the way you're going to play, right? I always like to go back to athletic sayings because I grew up as an athlete. And it's the same thing with policing and military, right? You want to practice the way you're going to play.
Right.
So if you have that state-of-the-art training facilities, it's going to make it easier for us to do our jobs in real time when we're out there on the road.
Right. Because we know it's muscle memory. Right?
100%.
It really is. It's training and muscle memory.
I only saw pictures of it, but I saw they have a train, they have a bank, they have a store, a gas station. So
I think they have 11 structures. They have 2 different types of houses. They have a train and a platform. Bowler Market is there. They have a fully stocked gas station there. They have place of worship, bank. Yeah. So, and there's plenty of roadway too. So I think their plan is that they're going to use that as like an emergency vehicle operations course. They're going to put the rookies at the beginning or in service also, which is when the police officers are on duty already, they're working, and they go back every year or so to requalify or retrain. And they'll assign them a call and let them loose through the village.
Yeah, having something like that is great for the county because like right now when we want to practice, say, an active shooter situation, we have to shut down the Port Jeff Ferry to be able to practice responding to, the waterway incident, or we have to go to a school during the overnight tour when the school's closed anyway, right? At 3:00 in the morning.
Right.
So you can imagine when we're training at 3:00 in the morning, it kind of limits the availability of personnel, or it might cost the county money in overtime to bring people in when they would normally not be scheduled to be working. So being able to have our own facilities 24/7 is going to be a huge cost savings in perpetuity for the county.
Correct. Yes.
And you said 11 structures. So like scenario wise, I think we've seen in the news a lot of different shootings happening in a lot of different places. Like you said, schools, that's a very, right now, trending like a popular place for school shootings right now, which no one likes to hear, but it's the truth. A bank, we have a lot of robberies at the bank. It's good for scenario training for the police to go into a situation where it's likely to happen in those areas.
Correct. Right. I think they may even utilize it for detectives. I had heard like an identity theft. They're going to have them report to the bank. And what I believe is that there's collaboration with Nassau Community College. The kids that are in the criminal justice program are going to volunteer their time in the police village to help
really
Nassau
cool.
County Police Department train.
That's great. Whenever you can incorporate the youth of the communities as well, it helps build that relationship with the police officers that are working in the areas. And I like that the communities and the public can get that perspective of what we're going through during our training, what we're thinking about, and kind of why we react the way we do. Because it's not always pretty when it's caught on camera. Right. But there's reasons why we do things, because ultimately we want to go home safely.
Correct. Right. And back to your point with the youth, that's why we at the foundation think it's so important to kind of groom and bring in our explorers. Mm-hmm. So we're now responsible for all of the fundraising for the explorers, because it's been a tough couple of years for police, and a lot of people have shied away from that. And we all know it's kind of a family business. We all have a lot of family that was in the police business. So when you go into these lower income communities, they may not have that uncle, that father. So the explorers are so important to get them acclimated to policing and realize that we're all human, right? All of us police officers, we have a job to do, and to try to get them to be the next police or Suffolk County police officers. So we offer 3 $2,500 scholarships to the top 3 explorer recruits. So they have to write an essay, and the woman that runs the explorers determines what are the 3 best essays, and then we hand out $2,500 scholarships to the seniors.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, we just had that graduation ceremony last week, and it was fabulous. Meeting the families, meeting the kids, and John Hopkins, Oswego. I expect them to be sitting in our seats one day.
That's great. And Johns Hopkins, that's a great school.
Yes.
Yeah. So it's great to hear that, we're assisting the youth in trying to build their future, right? And you guys also are putting money towards their registration fees for the program as well.
Correct. We pay for 155 explorers. We pay for their registration fees annually. We buy their uniforms when need be, because that's all out of pocket. And like I said, some of these kids, that their families can't afford these things.
Take those obstacles away. Let these kids get involved in their communities.
Right.
Oh, that's great. That's great. Now, we spoke a lot about the Nassau County Foundation and what they've been building out there with their training facility. What are we looking to do out here in Suffolk? Because I know we've spoken a little bit about updating our range. Right.
So yesterday we had our second site visit at a building that we have identified as a potential building for our state-of-the-art indoor range. So yesterday we went with an architect and asbestos abatement. We've been working very closely with County Executive Ed Romaine and his staff, who have been fantastic. They are very motivated to do this, because they know the importance of it to get, like I had said, a better trained police officer. Mm-hmm. So we will see where that goes. But they, like I said, are very motivated to get this done.
Now, those indoor ranges, they're really cool facilities. I know I've shot in the past at F6 Labs. Would this indoor range be anything like that with the video screens where you put through scenarios?
Yeah, very similar. So we 2 months ago, we toured the Nassau County Range and F6, and that was the Sheriff's Department, the Police Department, DPW, and the County Exec's office. So we toured those facilities, and then we went to F6, and they have been, the owners of F6 have been very cooperative with sharing their technology and their time, and it would be very identical to that, which, we train, for people that don't know, we train on a piece of paper that turns one direction.
Right.
They say shoot, the paper turns, and that's what we shoot at. This is a self-healing movie screen that you could put any scenario, you could project any scenario on, and somehow the technology is able to register where those bullets strike. And it's just amazing. It's the way that we should be trained.
It's more realistic.
Much more realistic.
Absolutely.
There are games that could be played, and they're not games. They're training scenarios where there's balls that you have to shoot the ball to keep it up in the air. And it's just, you could walk around the school, videotape a school, and then insert digitally an active shooter. So
that's interesting.
Yes.
So we could take video of local schools and practice responding to a local school in case of a dire emergency.
Right. If the 5th Precinct was going to train one day, they could do the Sunshine Mall. They could have video of Sunshine Mall, which is in Medford, and insert an active shooter. So it could be specific to every precinct, every unit, every division. So very
that's
exciting.
really cool. I didn't know that aspect of it, because that way it's more relative to where you're actually working. It's more realistic to what you would respond to.
Right.
Practice the way you play.
Right.
Yeah, that's really cool. I didn't realize that.
Yeah, so we'll, like I said, I'm very excited about that. I think we are, and one of the requirements that I had when we were looking for a location is that we have the land available so that when the time comes for us, we could build a training village. So this piece of property has 50 acres attached, so that when the time comes, we'll be ready to build a training village also.
Oh, that's great.
That's awesome.
What area is that located in?
It's going to be in, we're looking at the West Hampton Beach area.
Okay.
Very close to where our existing range is. Yeah.
Are you guys looking to make updates to the range that's there now, or I've heard a little bit of...
We had talked about I have a quick story. I toured Howard Lorber, who was the CEO of Nathan's Hot Dogs. We toured the range last year.
Great hot dogs.
Yes. And
great French fries. Underrated French fries.
Very underrated.
I love the little pitchfork they come with.
If they're crispy with some cheese.
Oh, it's delicious.
So I toured him in the Hogan's Alley, which we all know is just a complete dump. And he's a little bit of a gun guy. So as we're walking up to the facility, he says, "Oh, what is that piece of wood there? Do you guys use that as cover?" I'm like, "No, that's the roof that has collapsed."
Oh my God.
And then it's disgusting. It's not the way that we should be training. It depends on the year, but the 10th or 11th largest police department in this country. And it's no fault of anybody's. It's just the way that it is. And physically what the county can afford, but it's not the way that we should be training. That's where we would like to come in and make a better trained police officer. That's best for them, their family, and our community.
Right. And, part of the reasons why some of our training facilities are outdated is because of that fiscal impact on taxpayers.
Correct.
So having an organization like yours, bringing in some, private donors, people that maybe live in the community, work in the community, grow up in the community, want to see the police department thrive and do the best we can. It's important to have people like that are, the philanthropy that just goes around that could help us be able to be better prepared to do our jobs.
Correct. Yes. And being that we're so newly formed, so back to the formation. So we were formed in 2022. Mike and Lisa had, again, identified me. And when I retired, they asked me to come on and chair the foundation. And then that's when we really hit the ground running. We were just soliciting potential donors. And I'd like to say that they took a chance on a brand new organization. And, they're donating a significant amount of money. Now, we're a 501c3, so it's a tax write-off for them. But the amount of money that some of them are donating, it's significant. So I appreciate all of our donors taking that chance. And they came in at the ground level, and they're going to be a part of some great things that are accomplished here in Suffolk County.
That's great. Now part of getting projects like this done, obviously it takes, governmental relationships as well. How much did your role in the PBA assist you in having relationships like that? Some already existing, continue to build new ones with newly elected officials. You were the liaison to the county legislature for the PBA for a long time.
Right. So
how much did that experience help you and this foundation build up?
I think it helped. The county legislature, most of the county legislators have been very helpful. Legislator Steve Flottern has been tremendous. He is the chair of public safety. Just the people that he has directed towards us, the support that they have given Deputy Presiding Officer McCaffrey, both caucuses, Democratic and Republican, they have been tremendous in their support. And I think it helped. And it's funny, though, on my board is only one person that I knew during my time with the PBA.
Oh, wow.
Who was one of your
that?
tenants here, is Scott Frela from Wealth Management, tremendous supporter of law enforcement for years and years. His dad had been the PBA president for 18 years, great mentor and man. And though Scott didn't follow in his dad's footsteps, he is his own mentor and leader in his own right in his field. Yeah. So yeah, I was thankful for. Scott always says that I'm his most expensive friend, but I do appreciate that. Though.
You wear that with a badge.
Yeah, I do. He's just a great guy and a tremendous supporter.
We appreciate all the great things that Scott does for us as part of the PBA as well. He does a lot of great things for us.
Great thing. Always there to support us, whether it's financially or just however he can.
Right.
Yeah, so he's one of my many tremendous donors that I have.
And now you're building new relationships with the new board members on your board. How big is the board? What does that consist of? I see you have like an advisory board, like a general board, and then you have. Can you just talk about that a little bit?
Sure. So at this stage right now, I've had a lot of people that have asked me, hey, can I be a part of the board? And eventually we will get to that. But at this point right now, my board members just consist of donors. And depending on the donation amount is where they land on the board. So I have an executive board. I have 3 different levels. I have a corporate sponsorship, an executive board level, and an advisory board level. So those levels also depend on your involvement. And again, we're only about 15 to 16 corporations right now. So everybody has a tremendous, I put out quarterly newsletters. We have quarterly meetings. I inform them of every dollar that's spent. Once we get a little bit bigger, that'll probably change a little bit. That'll just have more of an executive board that I report to, whether it's monthly, whatever it is. But
right.
So that's the way we're set up now. But eventually, once we grow, I will have volunteers on the board because I think a lot of people in a lot of different fields, whether they're retired law enforcement, elected officials, they could bring a tremendous amount to the table and help the foundation out.
I agree 100%. And, we've seen a lot of success with New York City's Police Foundation. And, out there, the political environment is totally different than it is out here. Out here, we constantly feel the support from our elected officials and our, the general public out here. We know that people value public safety out here. So I feel like there's a great opportunity for success in a foundation like this moving forward.
No doubt. And what is great right now is that we have a police commissioner that was the recipient of a lot of those things that the New York City Police Foundation did. He always says he was on a task force. The foundation sent him abroad a number of times. I mean, like I said, they are a monster. They raise a tremendous amount of money and they do incredible work over there. But so our Commissioner Catalina is a tremendous supporter of the foundation. Whenever I ask him for anything, he will think about it. And it's usually a yes. As long as he can, he will do it. But he is, I cannot think of a better partner as a police commissioner for this organization. Again, I have a different view now, right? I'm not the union guy anymore. I'm an outside guy. I have a not-for-profit that I'm trying to build and run. But he is the perfect man for what I need.
That's awesome to hear. There's a cooperation between the county, the police department, and the police foundation because you're all working for a similar goal.
Correct. And I am very careful. There's a lot of times so how it works is we'll meet quarterly with the police department. Usually Chief Doherty is involved in that. Commissioner Catalina, our past commissioners, our past Chief of Department Waring. And they will let us know what they need. And then we will decide whether because what I'm careful of, and I think it's because of my union years too, I don't want to alleviate the county of their responsibility, right? They still have to run this police department. They still have to pay for things. They have to progress it. So we're careful not to do that. So there's a lot of times where after those meetings, if we decide that is something that we will purchase, I'll call the presidents of the unions to make sure that we're not stepping on their toes. Because again, I want all of us to work together and just the goal is just to better the police department. That's it. And not just our police department. I've been trying to reach out to the East End. This is for law enforcement in Suffolk County, for the smaller jobs, for the sheriffs, for the DA's office. Because once that range is built, we're all going to benefit from that. And if I could buy or purchase training or equipment for those other jobs, I would do that. We would do that.
Right. That's great. And, one of the things that I want to point out too, because you just mentioned how all the, kind of groups work together and you have that union background. you were actually able to help us settle an ongoing issue on the union side of things by purchasing flashlights for every police officer in the county. Because for years we were battling the county about providing us with flashlights, which is a basic tool needed to do our work as soon as the sun goes down. Even when the sun is up, sometimes we're going into basements, we're going into attics. Sometimes the lighting is not sufficient.
Right.
You need a flashlight to light up what you're looking at.
Right. And though I would like to take responsibility for purchasing them, we didn't, but I believe, were the impetus, because having known that grievance was hanging out there for 13 or 14 years, when I became part of that, I started soliciting vendors for flashlights, speaking to the county about them, I had a breakdown of what they were looking to do, and we were very close to purchasing it. But I believe that County Executive Romaine realized that it was incumbent on him to resolve this himself, and him and President Lucivello resolved that prior to us purchasing them. But I think that our involvement got that moving, though.
Well, that's great to hear, because that's a whole nother aspect of how the foundation can help. Because even if you're not footing the bill for something, your connections can help be that, third party that brings everybody together that needs to be to achieve a goal.
Right. Correct.
And your experience and foresight to know that you have to go to the unions and talk to them and see what they need or what could be going on. Those relationships are huge. So it probably makes you a good chairman.
I'm a union guy through and through, and I will never step on the toes of the union. We may not agree sometimes, or I may not be, again, it's a different role now, right? I may not be happy with the speed or the direction, but my heart is always a union guy. And I will never forget that, because the only reason I'm here doing this is because of my time with this police department and this union.
Right. Now, one of the things that we talk about in the office all the time, going back to when you were here too, is officer safety issues, right? And right now, we've been facing this opioid epidemic in Suffolk County and throughout the nation. And every once in a while, and we've had the incidents here in Suffolk County, you hear of police officers being exposed to fentanyl and accidentally overdosing just because they might be doing a search incident to a lawful arrest, and they pull out a baggie of drugs and there's fentanyl in there, and some of it gets on their fingers, and now it gets absorbed through the skin and they actually overdose from that slight exposure. And the foundation has helped equip the county with some equipment that will help alleviate some of those risks.
Right. Yeah. We just posted a video. I think she was a lieutenant down south on our social media, where she, just like the scenario you just explained, she got exposed by touching fentanyl, and she went into seizures. And thankfully, there was another officer with her. He ran and got the Narcan, and he administered two doses of Narcan to the lieutenant. And thankfully, I would imagine that she's okay. But that was a scary video to watch.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So during one of these meetings with the county, they had mentioned that they had 2 of these true narc detectors. And what it is, it's a handheld device that with a laser beam can analyze residue that is on a table. So it could tell you if it's sweet and low, fentanyl, heroin, but they cost $25,000. So the department had 2, but their goal was to try to get one in every precinct. Right. So the Police Foundation, again, with the generosity of our great donors, we were able to buy 5 additional true narc detectors for $150,000.
That's great.
Yeah. So we have to donate them through the legislature. They accepted the donation, and then we had a big press conference last year. Very exciting. At our event that we had last year, we had one of the detectives demonstrating them for all of our guests.
Yeah, so that was a really cool event. I remember going to that event too, and the technology's like you said, it's like a laser beam that gets shot at this substance, and I can tell you exactly what it is. It's pretty cool.
Yes. I mean, you would think that it could be good for overdoses also. I don't know if the device would be that readily available at that amount. Like, every police officer is not going to have it, but just think you could run into an overdose situation and there could be residue from what this subject took.
100%.
If you were able to analyze it, you would know whether you needed Narcan or whatever substance they use. Again, that is, I think, a little bit of a pipe dream, but still it has a tremendous amount of uses.
But it is a realistic possibility.
Yes.
Absolutely. It's a great tool for us to have. And one of the other things I just recently read about, you're working on getting some sort of x-ray machines now?
Yes.
Yeah. What are those? Because I hadn't heard of this till just recently.
So, I'm still in contact with a lot of people from the department, just as friends. So I was speaking to somebody in a specialized unit recently, and they had told me that the DA's office has this handheld X-ray machine that you can use to analyze cars for traps. So a trap is an area in a motor vehicle that drug smugglers will hide contraband in. So this device can X-ray a car to look for traps, and it can also X-ray tractor trailers if there are false walls. So I think in a recent arrest that the DA made, they found a number of kilos of cocaine hidden in the wall. So I reached out to Chief Doherty and Commissioner Catalina, said, listen, this sounds very interesting. Is this something that you guys would be interested in? After some discussion, they said yes. So we're in the process of and again, small held-hand device, and you could bring it up to a motor vehicle and X-ray the motor vehicle.
Wow, that's pretty cool.
That's about a $55,000 investment.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. And I think it was Chief Doherty that brought it up to me. And, Bill's a great guy. He's always got his thumb on his thumb on the pulse. He knows what's going on in the county. And I think that's a great tool, not even just for our motor carrier guys, which is the first thing that pops into my mind. But now that we're going through it, and you mentioned like hidden compartments for guns and stuff, that'd be great in the precincts too.
It would be.
Because when I was in the 7th precinct, it seemed like on almost a weekly basis, somebody was pulling a gun out of a car, or it's great to be able to have that X-ray machine. It's awesome.
If you're searching a car, a lot of times the car isn't clean either. So there can be stuff that is just hidden behind stuff that you're missing.
Right.
So.
100%.
Right.
Oh, that's
we do
great.
have those special compartments we can hide stuff in as well.
Right. Yeah, so we're excited about that. We just started that process that was only in the last week or so. So I'm hoping to have that before our event at the end of September to unveil that. So that's exciting.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
We spoke a little bit off air before we came on about your September event, but now since you just bring it up, what is the September event? Because this is a pretty cool opportunity for people to maybe even get involved with the foundation.
Sure. So September 30th from 6 to 9 at the Watermill Inn in Smithtown, we'll be having our second annual end of summer soiree. And it is our board members, and it's obviously a place for us to unveil some new technology, to solicit and bring in new board members. Last year it was our first year. We put it together very late, and we had almost 400 guests come.
Wow.
And so we're hoping for a little bit more. We'll have we have the big attractions. We have a seafood bar. We have a bourbon and cigar bar. I'm hoping for some local sports celebrities to come in and maybe MC for us. Can
we get Nathan's hot dogs?
I think Mr. Lorber has been, he's no longer the CEO,
okay.
But the food is good there, regardless. But the police department is very generous with equipment. So we'll have the emergency services Bearcat up front, motorcycles, the historical cars. I'm hoping to have the explorers there just helping us through the day. So it's a very exciting event. And you can find out the information on that on our website. It's Suffolk County Police Foundation.org. There is an event link, and you could donate there. We have sponsorship packages, individual tickets. But again, last year we had every elected Suffolk County official, the district attorney, the sheriff, our legislators, the police commissioner, and it was just a real nice event. We have silent auctions. We're going to be giving away great things like we gave away trips last year and sports memorabilia. So, and this year we have a number of things that we're going to be unveiling. It should be ready on time, but we've been in conversation with the police department. We're going to be making a plaques for every one of our line of duty officers that were killed in the line of duty. And we're going to be unveiling them in their home precinct.
Oh, wow. That's great.
Yeah. So we're going to start with our first one, John J. Nolan, this year. And that plaque will be unveiled at our soiree.
Oh, that's great.
So, very exciting.
Yeah, that's one of the things that you and I have always spoken about back when you were part of the PBA, is just making sure that the families of our fallen and the people that have made the largest sacrifices in this county know that they're not forgotten about and feel like they're still part of this team and blue family that we have.
Right. But you guys have picked up tremendously on that. Damon Morrow, this executive board, this whole PBA board, we always like to say, never forget, but you guys haven't. You have stepped up, and the things that you are doing now for our line of duty families are tremendous. I think they feel like they are part of the process involved and not forgotten. So kudos to you guys. Great job.
David really does. He does a great job.
Great job.
Great job. The brotherhood. So.
Yeah, he keeps in constant contact with all those families.
Right. Yeah. So his dual role with the Brotherhood and as the family here, the family committee that you guys have.
Yep.
So
that an event like that is really cool. Everybody gets to see the equipment that, especially for the donors and the board members, they get to see, where their donations are going to. They see that this is a great cause. This truly is getting the equipment and tools that we need to do our jobs as effectively as possible.
Right.
And it's almost like an adult version of a National Night Out.
Yes.
Right?
It is. Yes.
Right.
Yes.
And the National Night Out is great for kids and families to go see a lot of the same equipment and interact with police officers and our Community Relations Bureau. And you guys now at the foundation have become a major part of that.
Yeah, we are. We're very lucky. This was our second year co-hosting National Night Out. So the first year we were at Roberto Clemente Park in Brentwood, and it was tremendous. That was unfortunately the area of some illegal dumping, but what they have transformed that park into is such a family-oriented park. There's a pool there, just a tremendous area to be in. So last year we had asked, where could we help? The police administration said, why don't you go to Roberto Clemente Park? And we did. So we had a tent, and not to put a monetary figure on, but we spent about $9,000 on just giveaways. We brought in some inflatables, cotton candy, snow cones. So this year we asked, where could we be utilized again? And then the board spoke about it. We're like, you know what? We enjoyed so much being there, because I think we had about 2,000 people there last year.
That's great.
Yeah. The kids are so appreciative. And again, it's a very family-oriented place. They're at the park, at the pool. They come out of the pool. The kids, thank you. Can I get one for my sister, for my brother? The parents, we loved it so much. We asked the commissioner, can we go back to Roberto Clemente Park? And we did the same thing. We gave away cotton candy. We had coloring books and rulers and slap bracelets, and we had a carnival inflatable. And I know every precinct doesn't, and I'm sure they're all great, but this one has kind of touched us. Just the appreciation that the children have for the interaction with the police officers.
Yeah, that's awesome. It's great to be able to interact with the public like that, and again, show off some of the stuff that you've been able to accomplish. Was Hamilton in attendance there? Our new peer police dog?
Hamilton, and I'm not sure who leads who. Whether Hamilton leads around Officer Politis, but he was. So what a tremendous addition he has been. Again, during one of our meetings last year, when Commissioner Catalina was Deputy Police Commissioner, he had said that we were one of the only metropolitan police departments that did not have a therapy dog. Wow. So we sprung into action. He had one of his assistant commissioners, or a civilian that works for the police department, Richie Bastides, work on it. And we ultimately got a dog from Puppies Behind Bars. There is a felon, a convicted felon, I believe for murder, that has a life sentence. And I guess when the prisoners show good conduct and the proper personality, they train these dogs. So Officer Politis went up there for a couple of weeks, met the trainer, and that's where we got our dog Hamilton from. And so the Police Foundation was the impetus in that, and then we also paid for the vehicle that Hamilton is transported in, him and also Politis. That's really cool how the dog is trained, because we just recently had Lou Viscusi on an episode, and we were talking about how jails and prisons get this stigma behind them, but really they're correctional facilities. And the people working in there are corrections officers. And the purpose of these is to be able to rehabilitate and be able to get people who have lived lives of crime to possibly be on a path towards living a positive life and having a positive contribution to society. So this Puppies Behind Bars is a prime example. This is great to hear. Great story. Yeah. Yes. So myself and Lisa Tutone was supposed to go there for the graduation, but there was some wildcat strikes going on during that time. So they had canceled the public graduation. But I was very excited to be up there because, it's a great story. Like the story behind it is tremendous to hear that somebody has, though incarcerated for life, has hopefully turned their life around in there, and it is really contributing to society. Purpose, yes. Yeah, that's really cool. Yeah, that's really cool. Yeah, I think Officer Politis came away with a great understanding of what goes on up there too. Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. Now, the idea of this, police mental health dog, I had never heard of it till just recently, right? All of a sudden, I found out the sheriff's office had a couple of them, and I like to hear
that it was Commissioner Catalina that approached you with this sort of idea, because Commissioner Catalina has years of experience in policing, but he has an idea of innovation and how to move a department forward and how to build up something that I already feel is the greatest police department in the country, to try to make us even better and improve not just our services to the public, but also services to each other and the value of mental health and peer support.
Yes, definitely. I know Officer Politas has gone to the precincts, has gone to some pretty bad crime scenes where our police officers were first to respond, and the dog has just been, I mean, just like equine therapy, the canine therapy is tremendous for our officers. So we actually have another dog in the pipeline, the Matt Martin Foundation, who Matt Martin was, unfortunately, he was an Islander, who unfortunately just retired.
Boomer's son-in-law.
Boomer's son-in-law, yes. So his foundation reached out to us and said that they would like to donate another dog. So that dog is pretty close to graduating. So Commissioner Catalina has a great plan with that dog too.
Oh, that's awesome.
That'll be his choice to unveil. But yeah, so we have another dog in the pipeline that should be coming to us within the next month or two.
Oh, that's awesome. Boomer and Gio, they have a great show on WFAN. I listen to them most mornings, either them or Sid Rosenberg.
Yes.
And it's great to hear the local guys like a Boomer Esiason, who grew up in East Islip, still being, a local sports guy, but being able to, talk about things like this, and with his son-in-law being able to help police officers locally.
Right. Yes. Yeah. There were a couple of times where Boomer and Gio wore PBA swag through the years that we had gotten to them. Yeah, they're tremendous supporters of law enforcement. They really are. Gio is MC at a lot of local events out here. Yeah. So hopefully,
it's awesome to see people like that too, recognizing the mental health of this job and how important that is.
Yes.
And doing that.
It is. I think, again, I don't want to give you guys a tremendous amount of credit, but I think you guys are doing a great job with recognizing the public health issues that, it was a stigma for so many years that people didn't want to admit or look to get help. But I think you guys have really brought it to the forefront during contract negotiations. And it's just an everyday thing now that our officers are hopefully utilizing, because it saves lives.
And just like CJ said, the commissioner recognizing that as well, because it starts from the top and leadership starts there. So it's very important that he had the foresight to see this.
Yes. So. I think one of his tremendous attributes are because he has decades of police experience. Right. But I look at it from a different role now, but I truly believe that he has his finger on the pulse because he's a street cop. That's exactly what he is. And he doesn't act like he is anything else. He is an administrator now, but at heart, he's a street cop. So he appreciates the job that your members are doing every day. And he has never forgotten that. And that's the way he makes his decisions. So from an outsider with a lot of police experience, I really appreciate him.
Yeah, absolutely. And especially now too, the more we talk about mental health and break that stigma, the more our officers will be able to come back from a critical incident and be effective again, right? Because sometimes if you're not treated the way you should be immediately following a critical incident, it takes even longer, or maybe you never fully recover from it.
Right. Yeah, we internalize that. And I always say that it comes out sideways some other way, right? Whether it's against your significant other, your spouse, your children, your coworkers, the community. So it is very important that we utilize the mental health, that our officers seek it.
Yeah, it's money and time and effort well spent for the services that we should be providing.
Definitely.
Yeah. So what else is in the pipeline for the foundation? As you're trying to recruit more board members, I know you have a significant amount of board members now that deserve a tremendous amount of recognition. What are some of the things you're still looking forward to accomplishing, or working together with the current board members?
Well, I think the range right now is our main focus. So, because like I said, we're getting closer to finalizing a location. And I think once we have that, when I meet with our donors, and if I could just jump back to just the cooperation that I get from the police department is tremendous. So when we have potential donors, now again, active police officers cannot talk about money, and that is our commissioner, our chiefs, but they are gracious enough to give my potential donors a tour of police headquarters, just to show them the good and the bad of headquarters, how things operate and how poor some of our facilities are. That was never intended to be a police headquarters, but the administrations through the years have done a good job or tried to do a good job at keeping it up. But it might be time that we go into another building.
Right.
But so usually Chief Doherty, who is now the chief of detectives, he will tour these people around by potential donors around headquarters, which I am eternally grateful for. And we'll get a few minutes with the police commissioner. And I always tell the commissioner, listen, I need 5 or 10 minutes of your time. And after 45 minutes, I'm trying to give him he's a very busy man. He's running a police department,
right.
But he is so gracious with his time. So especially those two have made a tremendous impact on the police foundation. Again, it goes back to their realizing the importance of it and the things that we could do together.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that has been great. But I think once we have this range nailed down, I meet with them, I tell them what our plans are, but I don't have a plan, a blueprint.
Okay.
So, but once we're getting closer to that, and a lot of these people are overlapping with the Nassau Police Foundation too. So I have 3 or 4 board members that are part of the Nassau Foundation also. So once we have blueprints and a plan and a location, I think it'll make all of our job, myself, Lisa, and Mike, a little easier trying to sell it to potential people to come on board. Because
right.
Here it is. This is what we have. This is the cost. Here's the location, and here's the blueprints. And let's get rocking. Let's get rolling.
Right, right. And I know you have a tremendous board there, a lot of big time donors and board members that help you along with the mission. Who are some of those groups? Because they deserve to be recognized.
They certainly do. Again, they took a chance on a new organization, and when the call comes out or goes out, they are always there.
Yeah.
It's, whether it's a press conference, they come in a press conference. Whether I have I'll get to the list in a second. There is my newest board member, Craig Litt, who is the owner of Pico Manufacturing. They manufacture underwear and things like that. But he's one of the largest manufacturers in the world. So he had donated a number of months ago, but busy man, right? The tariffs are affecting him. So the business is a little crazy. So he was driving out east last week. He said, hey, I'm going to be in the area. Can we stop and do a picture? Well, because I had been asking him. So I'd like to do a check presentation picture. So we were at headquarters doing a picture. I asked one of the highway guys to come out and take a picture. And we were chit-chatting, and he said something about changing a tire. And then he had to pull out the old crank tire from the person's car and how helpful hydraulic jacks would be. It was just chit-chat. The police officer goes back in. Mr. Litt says to me, get the numbers, see what they need. I'll cut you a check.
Wow.
So that's the generosity of these people. It's just tremendous. I'm so impressed. I think sometimes we get this negative view as police officers, but when you get out of this world, there are so many good people that support us. That's the importance. That's why I like to get their names out there. Again, I want to give them recognition for what they do, but I want the officers to know that there are very good, wealthy people that believe in what you do every day and are willing to make your lives better and the community's better too.
Right.
So it's always important for me to give them recognition, but on the cops to know too.
It is great for our cops to know that because, when you sit down and you watch a lot of the mainstream media the last decade or so, you feel like everybody's against you. And it's just not the case. That is not the reality. The vast majority of the public does still support us.
Yes. And most of these people are local people too, right?
They all are. Yep. They have homes. Maybe they have multiple homes, but Suffolk County residents, Nassau County residents, city residents understand the importance of the police foundation. So are willing to contribute their time and their money. So I have MDASR, which is a local workers' comp firm. One of the founders is Eddie McIntyre, who is a former Suffolk County Police Sergeant. He retired a number of years ago. Milburn Flooring, Renew Contractors, Northwell Health, which was tremendous for us, just to get that name. I mean, not that they are any more important than any of my other donors, but just to get that name recognition.
Right. Everybody has heard of Northwell Health.
Right. Yeah.
Long Island.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. I had breakfast with Michael Dowling, and he was the nicest man, and he's appointed one of his vice presidents to our board. Fellow health partners, the John C. Dunphy Private Foundation, Maloney Funeral Homes, which is a tremendous name. Dan Maloney and his daughter Danielle, they do great jobs. Mm-hmm. Most of our funerals are there. Most of our police officers go through a Maloney Funeral Home because they have a number of locations throughout the home, and just their care and just a personal friend of mine, Tara Pettit, who is Glenn Pettit's sister. She's an employee of Dan's over at Maloney Funeral Home too. So I've had all my family members buried there, but Tara's a great friend and still does great work in memory of her brother.
They
Glenn.
do have beautiful facilities. I've been to countless wake services at a Maloney Funeral Home.
Yeah. And progressive too. They're always coming up with different ideas.
Yes,
I think the Ronkonkoma one now,
yes.
They have an area in the back where it's bar tables, and to celebrate your loved one, they're going to pass hors d'oeuvres, and it's just a different feel. So you're not sitting in a room looking at a coffin, right? So it's just a different feel, right? It's a celebration.
A celebration of life. You're outside with the family and loved ones, and you're celebrating this person's life.
Right. Yep. Nationwide mortgage bankers, again, an overlap from Nassau County.
Mm-hmm.
Rich Steinberg is always there whenever I need anything. When Officer Gallagher was in the hospital, he had called me. He goes, "Hey, Lou, why don't you buy dinner and lunch for all the hospital staff?" Sends me a picture of his credit card, and we're buying lunch and dinner for them. Bullivis Restoration, Rory Bullivis, a young guy who just works his tail off and just gives back a tremendous amount to all of the community. Like I mentioned before, Scott Frela and Blue Line Wealth Management, just a great friend of law enforcement. Loss prevention and communication systems, Pico Manufacturing, Parkey's Construction, and I have just an individual that lives out east and in Florida that had heard about us, and he's on my board, Eric Altman. So he's a retired guy. He just believes in the cause. So
that's great.
Yeah. And we're having weekly meetings with other potential donors. We're always out there working, trying to get by word of mouth or whatever it is, the message out there. And again, thankful to the police administration for giving us their time. But I'm at least 3 or 4 times a month, I'm bringing in new donors into police headquarters.
And for people out there who are interested in becoming donors to the foundation, is there any sort of minimum donation, or is it no donations too small?
No donations too small. You can go on the website and you could donate any amount of money. Again, we have other levels, but anybody could go to the website and donate any amount of money. And every dollar helps.
Right.
So
and what's the website again?
So Suffolk County Police Foundation.org.
Okay. Are there links to that on your social media at all? What social medias are you out on?
We're on Facebook and Instagram.
Okay.
And Facebook for us older people and Instagram for the younger guys.
Getting with the times.
That's it. Yeah. Our social media person does a nice job getting everything out there. Anything police related, or like I had said, the lieutenant down south, anything that we think can highlight and put attention to the things that we are striving for.
And you guys are everywhere, because I see you guys post a lot of stuff, even though you're a new organization. You guys have a ton of pictures up there, and you guys are everywhere.
We try to go to a lot of, again, I'm retired, but I'm not. I'm still in, which I don't mind. I'm still in the same circle, go to a lot of events. I try to keep those relationships that I had while I was here still going to benefit the police department now. And the same thing I was doing here, but it's just in a different way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm glad you brought up being retired but not, because you've stayed busy. And you have a beautiful family at home, a loving wife. You have 3 kids, and that family's growing now too.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. Yeah, we're expecting our first grandchild in
Congratulations.
October. Thank you. And we all know this, right?
Yeah.
We could never achieve anything that we have done without a supportive spouse, significant other, because the time commitment that we make as board members, I don't think our members appreciate it. The only people that I appreciate it are our fellow board members and our spouses and our children, because the time away, you could be anywhere. You could be at a child's christening, a family party. That phone rings and you're going. If it's a critical event, you're going. So I wouldn't be here without. When I retired, I got my wife and my children all gifts, because I would never have been able to achieve what I did without their sacrifice, putting aside their goals for mine. So I'm very appreciative. And my wife is every day. She is researching the CEOs of companies.
That's great. It becomes something you can work on together.
Exactly. Listen, what's the next? We were sitting this morning after she dragged me to Orange Theory to try to kill me.
Well, you look great.
Oh, thanks. She's like, all right, so after the soiree, what's next? What are we doing next? Like, she's a great partner. She always has been a great partner. But when it comes to this now too, she's just very supportive.
That's awesome. Great to hear. And it's very important to have, because like you already touched on it, we couldn't be as effective at our jobs if it wasn't for support at home.
Right.
So it's great to hear that you still have that.
Yes.
And she's not, she's not like, well, aren't you retired now, and not as supportive as she
She's
used
trying
to
to get me out of the house as much as possible.
It's great to see that she's on board with keeping busy.
Yes, definitely. Yeah, I'm blessed.
Yeah, that's awesome to hear. Before we close out here, you have the soiree coming up September 30th. Where can people buy tickets to that?
You go to our website, SuffolkCountyPoliceFoundation.org. There is a pop-up on the homepage, but then you could also click on events and you could purchase sponsorship packages there. Again, it is an event. I mean, I had a lot of people walking out of there saying that it was the best fundraiser that they have been to. And again, I'm sure the seafood bar and the bourbon and cigars didn't help, and having the district attorney and the commissioners there, and the legislature. But it is a nice event. It really is.
That's great. That's great. Lou, we appreciate everything you've always done for the members of the Suffolk County Police Department. We appreciate your history with the union and what you're doing now in retirement, right? Because I know you're just as busy as you've always been going forward with this police foundation. It's great.
Thank you. Like I've told you guys privately, what you guys are doing now, especially this, is unbelievable. It's just very progressive, and this PBA board has never been deeper. And I expect, not that I expect like an old man or a big brother, but I expect tremendous things from all of you guys. You guys are all going to be the leadership of this organization for years to come, and the members are lucky to have all of you. So.
We appreciate you saying that, and your mentorship as well. I mean, years of being behind you, we've learned a lot. So
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, Lou. We appreciate you coming on today.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Great job. Appreciate it.
Yep.